We have Donald Trump supporter Kayleigh McEnany, Hillary Clinton supporter Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, Republican strategist Margaret Hoover. They're all with me in New York. We have former communications director for Ted Cruz, Amanda Carpenter, Donald Trump supporter Matt Schlapp, and Hillary Clinton supporter Maria Cardona. Kayleigh, if I could begin with you. You have Tim Kaine there, the vice presidential candidate, accusing Donald Trump of pushing, in his words, Ku Klux Klan values. Your response?
Yeah, I think that this is gutter politics at its absolute worst, like I'm not sure we've seen in a presidential election. You know, Donald Trump is someone who opened his building to the Rainbow Push Coalition and was praised by Jesse Jackson for doing that. He's someone who opened his club in Mar-a-Lago to Jews and African Americans when others were not. And Abe Foxman, the head of the Anti-Defamation League, praised him for that. But they are maligning him. They're taking isolated things from his past. Yesterday, Cher at a conference a few days ago, Cher at a Hillary Clinton fundraiser compared him to Hitler and Stalin, a maniacal dictator. You have heard no language to this level coming out of the Trump campaign. We could be digging into her past with Robert Byrd.
Trump called Hillary Clinton a bigot, so it's not exactly one direction.
But we're not digging things out of her past like Robert Byrd, the picture she has with a KKK Grand Dragon, or the endorsement from a California KKK Grand Dragon, or we can go on and on. Bill Clinton keeping the Confederate star in the Arkansas flag during his time as governor. We could be doing that. We're not doing that because this is about issues that matter to voters, not about maligning the opponent.
Hakeem Jeffries, fair defense?
Well, actually, I think Donald Trump has a pattern and practice throughout his history of engaging in racially provocative acts that have been harmful to the African-American community and communities of color. You can go as far as back as the 1970s, where his company, he was president at the time, was accused of violating the 1968 Fair Housing Act, discriminating in terms of the allocation of apartments to blacks and Latinos,
never proven in a court of law.
labeling applicants who were black and Latino with C for color, well documented, and you can review that information. Then, of course, in the late 1980s, he was very provocative in going after the Central Park five individuals, 4 African Americans, 1 Latino, who were wrongfully imprisoned and accused of engaging in a horrific crime. Donald Trump, if it was up to him, led the lynch mob and would have, those 5 individuals would be on death row right now. And you can continue on and on throughout his history. And so I think it's very fair game if he is appealing to the African American community to examine his history.
Margaret Hoover, Republican strategist. I heard you agreeing with Hakeem Jeffries.
Look, it's not even, I agree with what Hakeem said, and I think Kayleigh's doing, a heroic job trying to defend a candidate that even as recently as the primaries wouldn't denounce David Duke. Wouldn't defend.
There's so much misinformation. It's
no, Kayleigh, you and I argued about that on air. Took a lot of questions from our colleagues, and would not, after given many chances on this show.
I hope the viewers do their research too.
And they will see that he over and over, Jake Tapper offered him the opportunity to denounce David Duke, and he didn't do it. He did not do it. That is false, Kayleigh. You are not telling the truth.
I'll tell you what, before we leave the broadcast, we'll play that clip again, but I'll let you complete your thought.
What's even more here, besides Donald Trump's past, is his current embodiment of his campaign has embraced values that if you're not comfortable with Ku Klux Klan, as Tim Kaine says, just go spend some time on Breitbart.com and spend some time in what they're calling the alt-right, the alternative right, which is a very nasty and uncomfortable part for a conservative Republican to see the dirtiest, nastiest trends and traditions in American politics taking over a great Republican Party is very, very disheartening and concerning.
Matt Schlapp, you hear that from a fellow Republican like yourself, expressing distress about the direction of the party. How do you respond?
Look, I have great regard for Margaret, and I think when it comes to questions of race, all of our temperatures rise. I'm a Midwestern boy. I'm not as comfortable talking about these types of questions, but I will tell you one thing I'm completely offended at. I'm completely offended at the idea that because I support Donald Trump, I have to listen to that speech from Hillary Clinton and hear about the fact that I'm a hater and I'm cavorting with racists and white supremacists. It's way over the line, and it is not going to make America a better place. It's not going to heal these divisions. Actually, what Donald Trump did is he did the unthinkable. He reached out to African-American voters and asked them to give him a chance and to consider him. And that is what this reaction is. You know what Hillary Clinton said in her ad? You will lose everything. You know what that means? They will lose all their rights. They will lose all their civil rights. They will be second-class citizens. That is way too many steps too far, and this is when my passion arises, because this is disgusting politics.
I'm sorry, but just to be clear, how will they lose all their civil rights?
Watch that ad. You say you want to play a clip? Play the clip of her ad when they say, what do you have to lose with Donald Trump? you will lose everything.
You're
Play
saying that
it
the Clinton
and watch
campaign
it.
is arguing that. I understand. I just wanted to be clear. I want to give Amanda Carpenter a chance to respond to Matt Schlapp.
Here's the thing that's so disheartening about this campaign on both sides right now. We've entered the you're rubber, I'm glue. You know, we're going to call names constantly. You're a racist, you're a bigot, you're a racist, you're a bigot. And it goes back and forth, and it's unending. It's exhausting. And a lot of conservatives are so frustrated. Every little charge that you say you're opposed to Barack Obama, you get called a racist. And I think that's exploded all over the place this campaign cycle because people said, you know what, maybe I'm going to act like one. And you see that among, you know, all corners of the internet, and Donald Trump hasn't done a lot to tamp that down. I think he could do a lot more. But let's be clear here. Donald Trump is not a member of the KKK. He's not a grand wizard, and it's a really dangerous thing for vice presidential candidates like Tim Kaine to talk like that. I have problems with Donald Trump. I do not like what he said about Judge Curiel. I have said that many times, but we cannot demonize people to this degree because it makes politics a very dangerous place for everyone.
All right, Maria Cardona, Democrat, Hillary Clinton supporter. As you hear this division, I mean, keep in mind, within the Republican Party here over Donald Trump's positions, how do you react?
Well, I think that this is something that Donald Trump has brought upon himself. I mean, let's remember the kind of rhetoric that he started with when he announced his presidential campaign, calling Mexican immigrants racist and, rapists and criminals. But go back even further when you're talking about, you know, well, why do people think he is a racist? And let's remember that in the polls, this is not just Hillary Clinton, this is not Tim Kaine. In every single poll that we have seen, around 2/3 of the American people overall believe that Donald Trump has racist and bigoted tendencies and that he is feeding that kind of rhetoric. And when you surround your campaign with people like Steve Bannon, who has said that his Breitbart.com is the platform for the alt-right, who has said horrible things about women and African Americans and minorities in this country, he is the CEO of the Donald Trump campaign. In Spanish, there's a saying that says, dime con quién andas y te diré quién eres, which means tell me who you are surrounding yourself with, and I will tell you who you are. So those kinds of associations for African Americans, for Latinos, for minorities, and frankly for women are very disheartening, and they connect to Donald Trump because he's done nothing to avoid that.